we already discussed about the states of matter. In the states of matter, we already discussed about the what is the properties of the solution, what is meant by the solution. What is meant by solution? Solution is a homogeneous heterogeneous mixture in which the two or more components added is called as the solution. It contains the two or more components is called as the solution. What is meant by solute? Solute. What is meant by solute? The component or substance which added to the solvent, it is called as the solute. What is the solute? The component or substance which is added to the solvent is called as the solute. And example for the solute is it is a container. It filled with the water, sugar, and it is the water into sugar is the solute. Sugar is the solute, and water is the solvent. What is the definition of the solute? The component which is added to the solvent, it is called as the solute. And what is the solvent? The material which dissolves the solute particles is called as the solvent. What is the solvent? The material which dissolves the solute particles, it is called as the solvent. And we also discuss about the properties of the solution. It is a homogeneous mixture in which the two or more components are present. It is called as the first point. And second point, and in the solute particles you cannot be seen with our naked eyes. And in third point we also discuss about the solution which do not allow the beam of light to enter the solution. Yesterday in the last class we already discussed, and today's class we will discuss about the suspension. What is meant by the suspension and the properties of the suspension, and what is meant by the colloidal solution. In this class we can discuss first what is meant by the suspension. What is meant by the suspension? Suspension is nothing but it is a heterogeneous mixture. Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which the solute particles do not dissolve in the solvent. What is the definition of the suspension? Suspension is nothing but it is a heterogeneous mixture in which the solute particles do not dissolve in the solvent. What is the definition of the suspension? Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which the solute particles do not dissolve in the solvent. Is called as suspension. What is the definition of the suspension? Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which the solute particles do not dissolve in the solvent. It is called as the suspension. What is the example for the suspension? Example. When chalk powder is added to the water. Chalk powder is added to the water. Chalk powder is added to the water. What is the example for the suspension? suspension when chalk powder is added to the water. And now we can see the properties of the suspension. Properties. Properties of the suspension. What is the properties of the suspension? First we can discuss about the suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. First point is the first point. Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. What is the first point? First point, suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. And second point, in the suspension, when the solute particles added to the solvent, we can be seen with our naked eyes. What is the second point? In the solution, in yesterday's class we discussed about the properties of the solution. In the solution properties, when the solute particle is added to the solution or solvent, we cannot be seen with our naked eyes. In the properties of the suspension, when the solute particle is added to the solvent, we can be seen with our naked eyes. When solute particles added to the solvent, we can be seen with our naked eyes. What is the second point? When the solute particles is added to the solvent, we can be seen with our naked eyes. And what is the third point? The second point. Third point. In the suspension, the beam of light is passes through the suspension. In the suspension, the beam of light passes through the suspension. In the suspension, the beam of light passes through the suspension. These are the properties of the suspension. And already we also given the example for the suspension. Now we can discuss about the colloidal solution. What is meant by the colloidal solution? Colloidal solution. Colloidal solution. Colloidal solution is a solution in which the material is evenly soluble in the liquid. Colloidal solution is a solution in which the material is evenly soluble in the liquid, and we also called as the colloidal suspension. What is the meaning of the colloidal solution? In the colloidal solution, the material is evenly soluble in the liquid, and we may also call that is the colloidal suspension. What is the definition of this colloidal solution? Colloidal solution is a colloidal solution is a solution in which the materials or substances are material is evenly soluble, evenly soluble in the liquid, evenly soluble in the liquid, and we may also called as colloidal suspension, colloidal suspension, colloidal suspension. And example for the colloidal suspension is in a water, add 2 or 3 drops, added 2 or 3 drops ink to the water. Add ink 2 or 3 drops to the water. What is the example of the colloidal? Add a 2 or more drops of ink to the water. What is the colloidal solution? Colloidal solution is a solution in which the material evenly soluble in the liquid, and we have also called as the colloidal suspension. What is the example for the? And add a few ink drops to the water. And now we can see the Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. What is the meaning of the Tyndall effect? The beam of light scattering by the colloidal substance is called as the Tyndall effect. What is the Tyndall effect? The beam of light scattering by the Tyndall substance of this Tyndall substance is called as the colloidal solution is called as the Tyndall effect. What is the colloidal substance? What is the Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect is nothing but the beam of light scattering by the colloid is called as the Tyndall effect. The beam of light scattering by the colloids is called as the Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. What is the Tyndall effect? The beam of light scattering by the colloids is called as the Tyndall effect. An example for this Tyndall effect is in a room, the beam of light enters in the room by the small hole. It is the example for the Tyndall effect is example taken room. When the beam of light enters in the room by the small hole, it is the example for the Tyndall effect. Example: the light enters to the room or in the room by the small hole. This is the example for the Tyndall effect. And in the next class we can start on the new chapter. Thank you.